Hi, Rachel. Thank you for
Hi.
joining me today. So,
No worries.
um, asking you a few questions. First and foremost, before you started with ALM, what was your biggest struggle relating to your health and fitness?
Um, I think my main issue, I had put on weight, but I'd done that before. So I think the tipping point for me with all the lockdowns and things was a complete lack of energy. Like I was moving from like my bedroom down to the kitchen for a coffee and breakfast, saw my little one out, and then straight upstairs, sitting all day at my computer, and then barely having enough energy then to go out and walk the dog. And it was just it was quite wintry. It was like March time. It was just coming to the spring, and I was like, I've got absolutely no energy whatsoever. I need to do something about it and get going and get moving a bit.
And so, like, how did having that lack of energy make you feel in general? How were you? How did it affect you mentally, physically? How did it
I
make
think
you feel?
it really affects your mood. Like I think I was really negative. I was really kind of depression's quite a big word, isn't it? But I think there's quite a big spectrum of it. And I think I was I felt like I was, just negative, no energy, just, snapping at my poor little girl who just wanted to go and do stuff and, get out and walk the dog or go and play or, and it really started to get me down. It was kind of, and then, you notice in the weight and everything feels really tight and you're about to start going back out into the real world doing stuff. And everything just felt, it's not a good place to be, is it, at the bottom?
No, no, but the only way's up, So
Yes.
yeah. And so how long, I mean, obviously I know it was lockdown, but how long in your head had this all been going on for you specifically?
I think it probably started like the year before. I'd done sort of like fitness, sort of mild fitness stuff before, but generally I'd kind of gone for the diet route with a lot of, like, if I've done stuff in the past, like proper diet programs, go to meetings and, restrict all my eating and all that kind of stuff. So I think I'd kind of always yo-yoed a bit. So it was kind of my weight had gone back up again over the kind of previous 12 months. So it was a good 12 months, but it gradually gets worse, doesn't it? When you start out, you kind of go, oh, it's just a little bit weight and it's okay. And then the longer it goes on, the worse you feel. And I think, it had been about 12 months or so.
It creeps up on you, doesn't it? It's like so unsteady. It's like when we say you don't put on weight overnight, but you don't lose weight overnight. So it's cool. Yeah. So that tipping point that finally made you seek help and address these issues, what was that? Was that the energy? What was your kind of thing like, right now, I've had enough now, I need to go and sort it out?
If I'm honest, it was seeing somebody else do the ALM program. Like my other half had done it previously, and he'd done it about 12 months or so before. And I saw what a massive effect it had on his mood, and his physique. And he had so much more energy. And then one of the girls in my office also joined ALM and she started in the January. And I went back into the office about kind of middle of March when my daughter went back to school. And just to see the difference, she literally glowed like I'd never see. She looked totally different. She'd not only lost weight, but she was just, she was going out for walks and she had so much more energy and she was so positive. And I was like, that's what I need. She's in a totally different place. And she was kind of in a similar place to how I was, at that point a few months earlier. So I was like, well, if she can do that and she can get that, then that's what I need to do. And that's kind of drove me forward to go, yes, it can be done. She's done it and I can follow her and I can go with it too. It really encouraged me to see somebody else in this, to be changing.
Yeah, absolutely. And then being in the same office, it's kind of like that kind of a bit of buddying up almost, isn't it? Because you can kind of encourage each other. So no, that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and it's lovely that she inspired you to do that, and I'm sure you've inspired people ever since then. So that's awesome. So since joining, obviously back in March, what results have you had?
So initially, I did the 6 weeks fundamentals. So I started, I think it was beginning of April I started, I think. And I was surprised at, I didn't necessarily lose weight. It was more the inches for me, which actually shocked me and felt I thought I'd feel better if I'd lost physical weight and stepped on a scale and had got lower weight. But actually, when I measured myself at the end, I was surprised how much better I felt. Everything fit me better. You know, I could really start to see a different shape even in just the first 6 weeks. I think my key one for me is my waist, because that's kind of where I carry all my weight. So in the first 6 weeks, I lost 5 centimeters off my waist. And now we are 5, I think I've been doing about 5 months now, and I have lost 12 centimeters off my waist.
That's amazing.
And I keep measuring myself once a month, because I just love going, oh my god, I've lost 12 centimeters, oh my god, and I keep telling everybody, I've lost 12 centimeters off my waist. It just I just the feeling it gives you just to have everything fit, and just I've just got so much more energy, which I everybody talks about that feeling you get after exercise, and I'd never really I hated exercise. I had to do Zumba because it was like dancing. It's the only thing that could encourage me to go and move about. I'd go, well, I've walked the dog, I've done my exercise, but now I'm into running. I love my classes. If I miss a class, I feel like I'm like, I start getting into like a drudge again, and I'm like, no, every week I've got to do my 3 classes, and it's only 3 classes. I kind of figured I'd have to do like 5 or 6 to be, losing weight and being healthy. But actually my 3 classes is perfect for me, and I can do more if I want to, or I can do 2 if I want, but 3, and you still see amazing results. I was really surprised at,
No, that's amazing. And also it fits in around like work, little girl, everything else. So, absolutely. No, that's awesome. So how do you feel your life has changed? Obviously 5 months down the line now, how do you feel your life has changed if you look back?
Oh, it's huge. I definitely, you start these things and you go, yes, I'm going to do it. But then in the back of your head, you're thinking, yeah, it'll probably work for a bit, and then I'll probably get bored and I won't want to do it anymore. But I found it really easy to slot into my habits and into my life, because I feel like there's so many choices with, you've got Zoom. Zoom's not my favorite, I'll be honest. It suits a lot of people because they like to do it from home and they can just get the iPad out, the laptop out and do it. I don't like it so much, but it's ideal if I can't get to a class, I can still flick it on. So I love having that option as a backup. For me, I like going to the hall. We go to Inkbarrow Hall. The gang in there, it depends, you have like a morning crew, don't you, and an evening crew, and there's like 2 sessions, and you get to know the people that regularly go on the same classes as you, and there's a real nice community spirit with it. You kind of go, what is that exercise? Because I had no idea what half the exercises were when I started, and I was going, what is that? And you can chat to somebody next to you and go, oh yeah, it's this, and I've done this before. And then obviously the coaches are always there to help you as well. But I just love the like getting out of the house for an hour to go and do my exercise. And I can't believe I've kept it going for so long. I genuinely thought I'm going to get bored of this and stop, but actually I want to do it more and more, and especially classes that I didn't not realise were there, because I knew kind of people did weights and things, but I thought it was like a boring gym thing where you go into the gym and you have to do these set weights and you go, but I feel like there's so many different exercises, and I learn a new exercise every time I go, and everybody's always going, oh, you can lift a heavier one than that, and I genuinely didn't think I'd have this love for weights, which I have now found apparently. So yeah, I love it. I feel like it's really slotted into my life, and it's something I don't want to stop. I don't want to give it up and don't want to miss my session. So I book things around myself. Oh, I can't go out tonight, I've got a session. I can go out after my session. But I just kind of book it around that, which is ideal for me, because there's so many, mornings, evenings, you can do it whenever it fits in for you, which is ideal.
And that's perfect. So it's like it really has slotted in, and I know that whole family feel, when we say we're a fitness family, it is exactly that, like you said.
Massively. Yeah
well, no, that's amazing. So like if you were talking to somebody who was on the fence about joining, what would you say to them?
It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because it is something that comes from you. But I think if you've got that thought that you want to do something, I think ALM kind of offers you a bit of everything, because you've got the 6 weeks to start you off to kind of get to know what you need to do, where you need to do Zooms. Are you a morning person? Are you an evening person? It kind of, you've got that family, like you said, it's a fitness family where they kind of draw you in, and you go, oh, I'll see you next week. We're like, oh yeah, no, and it just gives you that kind of that draw to keep you going, and when you struggle in those first few weeks, because it is hard work. Like if you've not exercised before, it's not going to be easy, but I think the feeling you get afterwards is so powerful that it will keep dragging you back in. So it's just get yourself to that first class, put the first Zoom call on, give it a bash, and it will hurt for at least 2 weeks, and then you'll get weeks where it hurts more than others. But I think it's a good pain where you feel like, oh, I've really done something here. And it's just pushing yourself to get over that line. And if you're not confident going in person, put the Zoom thing on. I mean, what a great tool to have for people who aren't sure, and go, look, I can go on video from home in my safety net. I can have a little look, check everybody out, see what I'm doing, and then, branch out and go to a class. Or, I do it. If you haven't done it already, do it.
Oh, thank you. Well, hopefully that will inspire people. I'm sure it will. So if you think back, I know this is a long time, but if you think back to your first ever session that you did, okay, yeah. How did you feel turning up? How did you feel like before it and turning up?
I was really nervous. Like, yeah. I think the lockdown didn't help particularly. I mean, I'm a fairly confident, sociable person anyway, but exercise is completely out of my comfort zone. So I walked in thinking, oh, if they tell me to do something and I have no idea what I'm doing, what am I going to do? Like, I was like, oh God. And, you started chatting to people, and somebody else was on the 6 week, and I was like, oh, brilliant. I've already, you walk it. We were actually in the fields outside because we weren't allowed to do it indoors at the time. I went to the Inkbarrow field. And then, I think it was Amy and Jess came and was like, oh, really nice to see you, how you getting on, take it steady. And they were kind of giving me tips on how to get started, kept an eye on me through the class, like, do you know what you're doing? Are you okay with that one? And there was a couple of kind of old timers that I know have been there for a long time now. And they were like, oh, you do, oh, it's this one next. And just take it steady. And we find it easier to, do it downhill because we're on a bit of a steep hill here and this kind of thing. And do you know what? I was really, really nervous when I walked in, but within about 5 minutes, I felt like I'd been doing it like forever. I was like, oh, this is really good. I really felt like I can't wait to go to the next one. It was just a really nice, like, casual kind of, there was a structure and everybody followed it, but you didn't feel like you were going to get behind or get lost. There was always somebody to help you out and go, no, it's okay, don't worry, it's your first one, you'll get it. And now, you can remember the warm-ups, a lot of the moves, and you can look at it and go, right, yeah, I know what I'm doing with that one. But yeah, it's nervous, and I think a lot of people are the same, especially if it's a new thing for you. But yeah, I think it's the family aspect really helps with it. It's not an intimidating environment like walking into the middle of a gym, which is my biggest hate. I don't like walking the gym. I feel like everybody's looking at you, and you've got all these machines, and it's all a bit like, oh God, I wouldn't know where to start. But this is a lot more. It's just an easier and more approachable version, and you're still doing probably all the same things you do in a gym, but it doesn't feel like you are. You just feel like you're in the family having a bit of a laugh and a joke and exercising a bit sweaty in between.
Yeah, absolutely, having a bit of a chat, everything else. So so for you, those feelings of nervousness, obviously they dissipate, so they weren't justified because you literally came and within a few minutes felt comfortable, at ease with the other members, with the coaches and stuff. So that's
definitely.
That's amazing. And so so how did you feel after that? After you completed your first ever session, how did you feel?
I was quite proud of myself because I thought I'd done all right. And obviously as you get going, you realise that your stamina and stuff starts to build. Like you go, I couldn't do that in my first session, and now I can do that, like a coffin sit up, so you have to sit all the way up. I couldn't do it to start with, but now I can do it with a weight. I can't remember what I said now.
I know what you mean.
Been to a session already. So
it's like you do it and you all of a sudden are like, oh, actually I didn't even realise when I started to do that, and you realise that your strength has progressed and your stamina. So yeah, I get it completely. And so many people say that coffin sit-ups is one of the biggest ones that people can't do when they first come, and press-ups is another one, things like that. So yeah, absolutely. So thank you, Rachel. Well, thank you very much for your time, and so thank you for sharing your experience with the world, and I will see you soon.
Lovely. I'll see you later in the week.
Yeah, absolutely.